The Leviathan of the Golden Horn, the 50-year terror of Porphyrios. The year is 529 AD. The sun sets over Constantinople, the queen of cities, casting a blood-red hue over the shimmering waters of the Bosporus. For the citizens of the Byzantine Empire, the sea is their lifeline, a highway for silk, spice, and grain. But beneath the wake of the merchant galleys, a shadow is moving. It is longer than a trireme, faster than a scout ship, and possessed of a malice that defies nature. This is the story of Porphyrios, the whale that declared war on an empire. For 5 decades, during the reign of Emperor Justinian the Great, the waterways surrounding Constantinople were haunted. It began with whispered rumors from sailors arriving at the port of Julian. They spoke of a sea monster that didn't just breach, it attacked. Unlike the gentle giant of the deep, this creature sought out the vibration of oars. It would rise from the depths like a surfacing mountain, its skin a strange, mottled purple gray. This hue earned it the name Porphyrios, a nod to the Porphyrogenitos, the born in the purple royalty of Byzantium. But there was nothing regal about the carnage it left behind. The Reign of Terror. Imagine the scene: a high-value merchant vessel, laden with Egyptian grain meant to feed the city's thousands, enters the narrow straits. The water begins to churn. Without warning, a massive fluke smashes the hull, snapping timber like dry kindling. Porphyrios didn't just sink ships, he seemed to toy with them. Contemporary historian Procopius recorded that the whale would dive deep, only to rocket upward, breaching directly beneath vessels and flipping them into the air. The psychological toll: fishing fleets refused to leave the docks. The economic blow: shipping insurance, in its primitive form, skyrocketed as the whale menace became a variable no merchant could ignore. The imperial embarrassment. Justinian, the man who codified Roman law and built the Hagia Sophia, found himself powerless against a single animal. The Great Hunt. The mystery deepened. Why did Porphyrios stay? Whales are migratory, yet this Leviathan remained a permanent resident of the Marmora and the Bosporus for 50 years. Some whispered it was a divine curse, others, a mechanical beast sent by enemies. Justinian eventually ordered the navy to hunt it. Dromans equipped with Greek fire and massive harpoons scoured the coast. Yet, every time the fleet drew near, Porphyrios would vanish into the silt-heavy depths of the Black Sea, only to reappear weeks later to claim another victim. The final stand at the Sangarias. The end came not from a hero's spear, but from the whale's own predatory drive. In the year 582 AD, while chasing a school of dolphins near the mouth of the Sangarias River, modern-day Sakaya, Porphyrios ventured too close to the muddy banks. As the tide receded, the Titan was trapped. When the local villagers realized what was thrashing in the shallows, they didn't flee. They grabbed axes, ropes, and wagons. They swarmed the beast, but Porphyrios was so massive and his skin so thick that the axes bounced off. It took days of coordinated labor to haul the creature further inland. When the whale finally died, the empire breathed a collective sigh of relief. Procopius notes that the locals cut the creature into pieces, discovering it measured over 45 feet long and 15 feet wide. Likely a massive, battle-scarred sperm whale that had lost its way. Porphyrios remains one of the most well-documented monster sightings in antiquity. He wasn't a myth of the distant past, but a biological reality that humbled an empire at its peak. He reminds us that even at the height of human civilization, there are forces beneath the waves that we can neither predict nor control. Was he a lonely wanderer, a vengeful spirit, or simply a creature that found a perfect hunting ground in the heart of the world? We may never know. But for 50 years, the most powerful men on Earth were afraid to look at the water. So was it a small sperm whale, or huge orca? That is the million-dollar question that has kept historians and marine biologists debating for centuries. The answer actually depends on whether you trust the measurements or the location. Here is the breakdown of the two primary suspects. 1. The small sperm whale, the most likely candidate. Most historians lean toward a sperm whale. The size: the historian Procopius recorded Porphyrios as being 45 feet long, 13.7 meters, and 15 feet wide. This is almost exactly the size of a mature male sperm whale. The temperament: sperm whales are famous for their aggression when provoked. They are the only large-toothed whales known to have historically rammed and sunk massive wooden ships, the real-life inspiration for Moby Dick. The lifespan: Porphyrios terrorized the seas for 50 years. Sperm whales can live up to 70 years, meaning a single, problem individual could easily account for the entire half-century of terror. The small factor: at 45 feet, he would actually be a somewhat average to small male by modern standards, which can reach 60+ feet, but certainly big enough to be a monster to a 6th century sailor. 2. The huge orca, the geological candidate. Some argue it was an orca, killer whale, but there's a catch. The location: sperm whales almost never enter the Black Sea or the narrow Bosporus because it is too shallow and the food isn't right for them. Orcas, however, are known to frequent these waters. The huge factor: if Porphyrios was an orca, he was a freak of nature. The largest orca ever recorded was about 32 feet long. For Porphyrios to be 45 feet, he would have to be nearly 50% larger than any orca known to modern science. The behavior: orcas are highly intelligent and have recently been observed ramming boats in the Mediterranean. A 50-year reign would be a stretch for an orca's lifespan in the wild, but not impossible. The most popular theory is that Porphyrios was a sperm whale that got lost. Marine biologists suggest he might have wandered through the Dardanelles and into the Sea of Marmora, becoming trapped in a cycle of chasing local prey. His purple-gray color, the namesake Porphyrios, matches the dark, mottled skin of a sperm whale much more closely than the distinct black and white patterns of an orca. The shadows of the Bosporus may have receded, but the depths of history are still teeming with secrets yet to surface. Was Porphyrios a biological anomaly or something far more sentient? That is for the orb to hold, and for you to decide. If you enjoyed this descent into the ancient deep, make sure to illuminate the like button and subscribe to join our growing circle of seekers. Don't forget to ring the bell to ensure you're the first to know when the orb glows again with a new mystery.